between theory and practice. How do theory and practice relate in the making and teaching of visual arts? This is me, Bloop! I'm here to tell you about my research proposal. My research is strongly tied to my own story, so I will talk to you about this first. I always knew I wanted to study visual arts in education, but I got rejected from the Art Academy. I did pass my final exams and decided to go to University of Groningen. Here I studied arts, culture and media. This is where I learned a lot of history and theory of the arts, which was very interesting. However, I missed making art. So I went to the Art Academy and this time I got accepted. Yay! Because of my background at university, I missed the intellectual challenge, and this is how I ended up at the honors program. In my application letter I wrote on the interesting relation between theory and practice, and the way it is looked upon, or should I say frowned upon, in my own studies. From the start, teachers told me that it was going to be difficult for me to make art, and that I was probably going to be held back due to a lot of my background in theory. It turned out to be the opposite. It actually helps me a lot. I had to get used to a different way of studying and expressing myself. But I was learning a new visual language. It was difficult in the beginning, but with a lot of practice I learned to speak it fluently. This proves to me that theory and practice go hand in hand. This view is not commonly accepted yet. Teachers still tell us to get out of our heads, to stop thinking and start doing. This frustrates me, and this is why I want to research this topic in more depth. There are multiple research angles to this topic. Firstly, I'm interested in the reason behind the separation. Why do we see practice and theory as something separate? I think this has to do with the Cartesian split. In the text by Lakoff and Johnson, Metaphors We Live By, they clearly state that our heads are connected to our bodies, and that cognition is never separated from bodily experiences. Therefore, theory and practice can't be divided in domains of head and body. How do we gain information about the world? What are the implications of this for the art practice? I'm curious to see what has been written on the process of making art and its connections to thinking whilst making. How do we think whilst making? What kind of thinking is this? Thinking and making has to do with the artistic practice, but also with the practice of teaching. A teacher needs to provide information. So what is the right way to do this? And how does a student learn? What kind of information is needed? So to be more concrete and to summarize, I want to research the relationship between theory and practice and what their implications are for both teaching visual arts but also making visual arts as an artist. Thank you for listening.